My name is Ingrid Quinn. I'm a single mom to my 3-year-old daughter Jade, who has speech delay and has been working hard in therapy to find her words. It happened right in the middle of her 3rd birthday party at our house. The cake was on the table, balloons everywhere, and Jade stood by the cake balloons, brushing her shoulders, practicing the words she'd been working on all week. The, thank, you. That was when my brother laughed out loud and said straight to her face, "Looks like the little one is basically mute, huh?" My parents didn't stop him. Instead, they chuckled and said, "It's just the truth. Don't be so sensitive." His wife stayed quiet. My older sister, who had flown in for the party, gave an awkward smile, and the room went silent for a second. Jade looked around confused, but I could see she felt something was wrong. I stayed calm, stood up, and quietly asked everyone to leave. They grabbed their things, muttering about how I was overreacting, and walked out the door. The house felt peaceful the moment it closed behind them. And the next morning, when they found out. If you want to know what happened when they finally realized who had been holding everything together all these years, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay until the end, because the fallout was something they never saw coming. That night, after finally getting Jade to sleep, Jade didn't cry that night. That scared me more than tears ever could. She just lay there in my arms as I carried her upstairs from the living room, her small body limp with exhaustion from the party, her eyes wide and distant. I could feel her little heart beating fast against my chest, like she was trying to process everything that had happened downstairs. At 3 years old, she understood more than people gave her credit for. Tones, faces, the shift in the room when the laughter turned sharp. I sat on the edge of her bed in the soft glow of her nightlight, rocking her, slowly brushing the curls away from her forehead. "You did nothing wrong today, baby," I whispered. "You were so brave, trying your words in front of everyone. Mommy is proud of you every single day." She looked up at me, her lower lip trembling for a moment, but no tears came. Instead, she nestled closer, clutching my shirt with both hands as if anchoring herself. Usually, after a big day, she'd babble a few new sounds or point to things excitedly, but tonight, she stayed completely silent. It broke something inside me to see her retreat like that. I stayed with her longer than usual. I pulled out her favorite picture book, the one with the animals learning to talk, and read it twice, doing all the voices she loved. Then the lullaby, the one she always requested, by tapping her fingers together. I rubbed her back in slow circles until her breathing deepened and her grip loosened. Even then, I waited another 10 minutes, just watching her sleep, making sure she felt safe. When I finally slipped out and closed her door most of the way, the hallway felt colder. Downstairs, the house was still. The balloons had started to droop a little, the half-eaten cake sat under its cover, wrapping paper scattered from the few gifts we'd opened before everything went wrong. I didn't have the energy to clean it up. Not tonight. I walked to my home office at the end of the hall, closed the door quietly behind me, and turned on the small desk lamp. The room was my sanctuary, bookshelves filled with parenting guides, speech therapy resources, and folders from work. My laptop sat closed on the desk. I opened it, the screen lighting up my face in the dim room. For years, I'd kept one file that no one else knew about, a simple spreadsheet tracking every quiet contribution I'd made to my family's life. It started innocently enough. After Jade's diagnosis, I poured everything into building something that could help kids like her. Nights after she slept, I coded, designed, reached out to therapists and parents. The platform grew: interactive tools, video sessions, progress tracking for speech delays. Contracts came in, investors, then the IPO 2 years ago. Suddenly, the numbers were life-changing, but I never changed my lifestyle. Same modest house, same practical car, same focus on Jade. Meanwhile, my family assumed I was just getting by as a single mom. They never asked how I managed so calmly, and I never told them. Instead, I helped in the background. First, it was my parents. Dad mentioned over a casual call that they were thinking of giving up the country club membership, too expensive, after some bad investments in retirement. $18,000 a year. I set up an anonymous payment plan through the club's billing listed as a family sponsor. They kept going to golf outings, brunches, social events, never knowing. Then Mom's health. Her preferred specialists weren't in-network, and the out-of-pocket costs were adding up fast. 3 to 4,000 a month sometimes. I routed payments directly to the offices. She got the best care without worry. Dad loved his luxury SUV new model every few years, the kind with all the upgrades. The lease was $1,500 a month. I covered it through the dealership system. He drove proudly, thinking his budget stretched further than it did. The family vacations were the one thing everyone looked forward to. Every summer, a big trip, beach house, ski lodge, whatever the group voted on. Flights, rentals, meals, activities. I created a separate fund and handled it all, 20,000 or more some years. They posted pictures, made memories, assumed, shared costs, worked out somehow. And the biggest ongoing one, Lucas and Holly's house. A few years back, they fell in love with a large home in a prestigious neighborhood, great schools planned ahead, big yard, modern everything. The mortgage was brutal on their salaries. They almost backed out. I stepped in silently, making extra principal payments every month that slashed their effective rate. 5,000, sometimes more. They celebrated great refinancing luck and moved in. All told, it averaged close to $20,000 a month, flowing out quietly for years. My shares from the company covered it easily, but I never flaunted it. I wanted them to love me for showing up, for being the reliable one, not for what I could pay. Tonight changed that. Seeing Jade's face when the room laughed, her confusion turning to withdrawal, made everything crystal clear. I'd been enabling a family that didn't truly see us. They benefited from the very success born out of Jade's challenges, yet mocked her without hesitation. I wasn't angry in a loud way. It was quieter, deeper. A decision. I opened the banking portal linked to the spreadsheet. One by one, I navigated to each recurring transfer. Country club membership canceled effective immediately. Mom's medical billing arrangements stopped. Dad's lease assistance terminated. Vacation fund account closed, remaining balance transferred back to me. And the mortgage support for Lucas and Holly halted, no more extra payments. Each click brought a small confirmation ping. No drama, no notification sent to them yet. The changes would hit naturally, bills arriving, accounts, short questions arising. I leaned back in the chair, staring at the updated spreadsheet rows now marked canceled in red. For the first time in years, that column of outgoing money was zero. The weight lifted slowly, like exhaling after holding my breath too long. This wasn't about punishing them. It was about protecting us, Jade and me, from people who took without gratitude and gave judgment in return. Tomorrow would be messy. Calls would come, confusion, demands. But tonight, the house was ours again. Peaceful. Just the soft hum of Jade's sound machine down the hall. I closed the laptop, turned off the lamp, and stood for a moment in the dark. Whatever came next, we'd face it stronger without carrying them anymore. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. I woke to the soft coos of Jade from her room, her little voice calling Mama, in that sweet, drawn-out way she had when she wanted company. It was just after 7, the sun already bright through the kitchen windows as I padded downstairs in my robe. I started her breakfast routine, slicing bananas thin so she could pick them up easily, spooning yogurt into her favorite colorful bowl, toasting bread and cutting it into strips. Jade came toddling in a minute later, hair tousled from sleep, dragging her stuffed bunny by one ear. She climbed into her high chair with my help, smiling when she saw the fruit. "Ing, Nana," she said clearly, pointing. I kissed the top of her head and praised her, watching her face light up. That's when the phone on the counter started vibrating. First once, then again, the screen flashing Lucas's name. I let it go to voicemail while pouring her milk. It rang back immediately. By the 4th cycle, voicemails were piling up. Jade looked over curiously at the noise but kept eating. I knew exactly why he was calling. The mortgage adjustment would have hit their bank alert system overnight. The missed extra payment flagged as irregular. I finished wiping Jade's hands, sat beside her with my coffee, and finally picked up on what must have been the 10th attempt. Ingrid. Lucas's voice was tight, breathless, like he'd been waiting on hold or pacing. It's me. Oh man, finally. Something's seriously wrong with the mortgage account. Holly logged in first thing, the big principal reduction payment that always posts around now. It's not there. The bank emailed a notice about a stopped recurring transfer from an external source. Have you seen anything weird on your end? Maybe a glitch. No glitch. What do you mean? I stopped it. Silence stretched long enough that I heard Holly in the background asking what I said. Then Lucas exploded. You stopped it. You're the source. All these years. Yes. How? Why would you do that without warning that payment knocks thousands off our monthly? Without it, we're looking at default risks, higher interest accrual, the whole thing spirals. I know how it works. We always assumed it was Dad's investment income, he said, voice cracking a bit. Some old trust or dividend account he set up quietly after retirement. You never corrected us. Never once said it was you. I didn't. So you've been covering the difference this whole time? How much are we talking? Enough to keep your payments manageable. He exhaled sharply. Ingrid, turn it back on. Right now. Whatever setting you changed, fix it. We can't absorb that hit. The budget's built around the lower amount. I'm not going to. Because of yesterday at the party. That's the reason. Come on, it was a dumb comment. Heat of the moment bad joke. Jade's little, she won't even remember it tomorrow. She felt it. Even if she did, punishing us financially. This is our home. We have roots here, plans. Losing that support means refinancing at current rates, which are brutal, or worse, selling in a bad market. You have choices. Choices like what? Move to something smaller, pull back on everything we've worked for. Over one sentence. It wasn't one sentence to me. His tone shifted to pleading. I'm sorry, okay. I crossed a line. It was thoughtless, especially with her therapy and all. I regret it. Apologize to Jade for me. We'll do better. Sorry doesn't restart the payments. You're serious. You're willing to risk our stability because I opened my mouth. Your stability was never yours alone. He paused, processing. How long have you been doing this? Years. Long enough. And you just cut it cold. No discussion? No heads up? Yesterday was the discussion. Holly's voice came faintly upset, asking questions. Lucas covered the phone, murmured something, then back. She's freaking out. Statements are due soon. If the full amount hits, we're short. Late fees, credit hits. You'll figure it out. This feels like revenge, Ingrid. Straight up. Call it consequences. Family doesn't do consequences like this. We talk, we work it out. Family also doesn't laugh off a child's struggles. He tried bargaining. Give us time. A few months to adjust, phase it out. Don't drop it all at once. No. At least explain how to handle the bank. They'll call us. That's on you now. Desperation peaked. Please, for Holly's sake if not mine. She's pregnant again. We haven't told anyone yet. Stress like this isn't good. The news landed but didn't sway me. Congratulations, but it doesn't change my decision. You're heartless. I'm protecting my daughter. The line went quiet again. Mom and Dad are going to lose it when they hear. They'll hear soon enough. Fine, play it your way. He hung up hard. The kitchen settled back into calm. Jade finished her yogurt, holding out her spoon for more. I refilled it, smiling at her messy face. Good job eating, sweetie. She babbled a string of sounds, trying to copy more. I encouraged her, clapping when she got close. No more calls from Lucas that morning. I turned the phone face down and focused on her. We played peekaboo with napkins, then moved to the living room floor with her blocks. She stacked them higher than usual, knocking them down with giggles. Around 10 other notifications started texts from unknown context, but I ignored them. The ripple was starting. I felt no regret. Lucas's voice shock turning to anger, then begging echoed, but distantly. He'd taken the help for granted, just like the rest. Now reality arrived. Jade nap time came early. She yawned after play. I carried her up, tucked her in with Bunny, and sat watching her drift off. The phone stayed downstairs, silent for the moment. But I knew it wouldn't last. Right after I ended the call with Lucas, my father called. The phone barely had time to cool before Dad's name appeared on the screen. I was still in the living room with Jade, helping her build a tower of soft blocks that she knocked down with delighted squeals each time. I put it on speaker so I could keep playing, lowering the volume a bit. "Hello, Dad?" "Ingrid, what the hell is going on?" His voice boomed right away, no greeting. "Lucas just called, practically hyperventilating about the mortgage. Said you cut off some payment you've been making. Is this true?" "It's true." "Why on earth would you do that?" "That's his home, his family's future." "I have my reasons," he huffed. "Reasons over what that little spat at the party." "Come on, he's your brother. He says dumb things sometimes, but pulling financial support, that's extreme." "It's not just the party." Mom's voice came in the background, asking to be put on speaker too. Dad obliged, and suddenly both were there. "Ingrid, honey." Mom started softer but strained. "Lucas told us the payment stopped cold. They're panicking. Is this really because of yesterday?" "Yes." Dad jumped back in. "A comment about Jade's speech. It was insensitive, sure, but family teases. You know how parties get. Don't escalate to this level." You both laughed along. A pause. Mom sighed. "We didn't mean anything by it. We were trying to lighten the mood." "It didn't lighten anything for me." Dad's tone hardened. "Fine apologies all around. But fix the payment. You can't jeopardize their house over hurt feelings." "I'm not fixing it. And it's not just the mortgage." "What do you mean, not just?" "I've stopped everything." "Everything?" Mom echoed, confused. "The country club membership you love, the one that's been paid without you ever seeing a bill." "Gone." Dad interrupted. "Wait, that's been covered. We thought insurance or some membership discount." "No, me." Mom gasped softly. "And my doctors? The specialists? I see the ones not fully in network?" "Stopped those too." "Ingrid." Dad said slowly. "How long have you been doing this?" "Years." "The vacations?" Mom asked, voice rising. "All those trips we planned together. The nice places, the extras." "The fund I set up for them closed," Dad muttered under his breath. "My SUV lease, the one that's always reasonable, ended." Silence stretched heavy. I stacked another block for Jade, who clapped when it stayed standing. Mom spoke first, shaky. How have you afforded all this? We thought you were managing okay as a single mom, but this is thousands every month?" "More than that." Dad cleared his throat. "So, you've been bankrolling us this whole time? Why keep it secret?" "Because I wanted you to see me as your daughter, not a wallet. And now you're cutting us off because we didn't handle one moment perfectly." "It's not one moment, it's the pattern." Mom tried reasoning. "Sweetheart, we're sorry if we hurt your feelings. We love Jade. Her speech therapy is wonderful, she's coming along. Yesterday was just awkward chatter. You chose to stand with Lucas when he said it." Dad got gruff again. "Family sticks together. We didn't think it was that serious." "It was to me." "Look," he said, "this is going to hit hard. The club your mom has friends there, committees, my car, practical reasons. Her doctor's health isn't something to play with. And Lucas, they'll struggle." "That's the point," Mom pleaded. "Please reconsider. Talk to us in person. Come over, bring Jade. We'll apologize properly." "No need." Dad's frustration peaked. "Where is all this money coming from anyway? You never mentioned anything big." "I didn't build that company to be rich. I built it because no one had helped my child when she needed it most. Company? Mom asked. What company? The EdTech platform. Online tools, interactive learning for kids with special needs like speech delays, therapist integrations, parent tracking games that make practice fun. It started small after Jade's diagnosis, filling the gaps I saw everywhere. Dad sounded stunned. And it's successful? We went public a few years ago. Contracts with schools, clinics nationwide. Mom whispered, Ingrid, we had no idea. That's how I wanted it. Dad tried one more push. Okay, impressive, proud of you. But use some of that to keep things steady here. We're family. Misunderstandings happen. This wasn't a misunderstanding. You dismissed her challenges, then expected the support to continue. Mom's voice cracked. We didn't know you were carrying all this. You never asked. Dad sighed deeply. Be reasonable. Restart at least the essentials. Mom's care the club maybe. We can discuss the rest. No. You're forcing us to change everything? You'll adapt. The way single parents do every day. Mom tried tears. This hurts us all. Think about Jade, grandparents, distant now. Jade needs people who celebrate her, not tolerate her while benefiting behind the scenes. Dad grumbled. You're being stubborn. I'm being clear. The call dragged with more back and forth promises to do better, questions about amounts, pleas for time. I stayed firm, answering directly but without anger. Jade grew restless, wanting lunch. I wrapped it up. I have to go. Ingrid, both started. Goodbye. I hung up, set the phone aside, and lifted Jade for a hug. She wrapped her arms around my neck, babbling softly. The house stayed quiet the rest of that hour. I made us sandwiches, cut hers into tiny pieces, and we ate on the patio watching birds. Their shock lingered in my mind, the realization that the disappointing middle child had been the pillar. But it didn't sway me. Boundaries felt right. Jade finished eating, then pointed to her swing set. I pushed her gently, her laughter filling the air. The phone remained silent for now. But I knew more voices would come. Later that afternoon, a number I hadn't seen in months rang. It was Gina. The phone buzzed on the coffee table while Jade napped upstairs. I was folding her tiny laundry in the living room, the afternoon sun slanting through the windows, casting long shadows on the carpet. The screen showed a number from out-of-state Gina's. She lived across the country now, busy with her own life, calls rare except holidays. I answered, curious why now. Ingrid. Gina's voice was sharp, professional tone she used for work calls, but edged with urgency. Yes, it's me. Lucas just filled me in. All of it, the mortgage, stop, the other payments, everything. What are you doing? I'm setting boundaries. Boundaries? This isn't boundaries. This is sabotage. Do you know how this makes us all look? Look to who? Everyone, my colleagues, friends back home who still know the family. Word travels. Suddenly parents can't afford the club. Lucas scrambling with the house, people talk. What's going on with the Quinns? It reflects on me too. On you. Yes, I worked hard to build my reputation here. Stable family image matters in my circles. Networking events, partnerships. If it gets out that there's this big rift or worse, financial mess, invitations dry up. Perceptions change. So, this is about your image. Not just image, reality. If mom and dad downsize lifestyles or Lucas asks for help, it could pull me in. Loans, favors, explanations. I don't have time or resources for that drama. You weren't worried yesterday at the party. A pause. I flew in for Jade's birthday. It was supposed to be fun. That comment Lucas made, awkward, yes, but blowing it up like this. You smiled along. I was being polite. Diffusing. No one expected you'd nuclear over it. It's not nuclear. It's stopping what I was doing voluntarily. Gina's voice rose. Voluntarily? You've been propping everyone up secretly, then yank it because of one afternoon. That's manipulative. I was helping without credit, now I'm not. and dragging the whole family down. Think about the optics. Holiday gatherings, awkward questions from mutual acquaintances. I have a presentation next month with people connected back home. Optics again. Yes, reputation is currency. You live quietly, fine. But the rest of us have social lives tied to this. Mom's health, dad's comforts. They'll manage. Adults adjust. Easy to say from far away. Exactly. I'm far away, because I built something independent. You could have told us about your success involved us. I didn't want involvement based on money. Now it's punishment. Lucas says Holly's stressed sick. This affects their stability. They have jobs options. Gina switched tactics. As the oldest, I should mediate. Fly back, we sit down, hash it out. Restart the supports temporarily while cooling off. No mediation needed. You're isolating yourself. Cutting me off too. Over this. You just showed me where your priority is, how it looks. Not Jade. Jade's fine. Kids are resilient. She's not fine when dismissed. This will blow over if you relent a bit. I'm not relenting. Her frustration peaked. You're selfish. Thinking only of your hurt feelings, not the ripple on everyone else's lives. I'm thinking of Jade's. Fine. Keep your money, your grudge. But don't expect me reaching out anymore if this is how you handle conflict. That's fine. Really, no family left willing to deal with the drama. I have the family I need. She huffed. You'll regret burning bridges. I already cut the ones weighing me down. The line went dead. She hung up first. I set the phone down, screen dark. The house felt even lighter somehow. Gina's call clarified everything. Concern for appearances, networks, inconvenience, not once asking about Jade directly, how she was after the party. Upstairs, Jade stirred with a small sound. I went to her room, scooped her up as she reached for me. She nestled against my shoulder, warm and trusting. We went back downstairs. I put on soft music, danced slowly with her in my arms, her head on my chest. No more calls came that evening. I cooked simple dinner pasta she could twirl, veggies cut small. Bath time stories, bed. As night fell, I sat on the porch with tea stars coming out. The silence from them was telling, and welcome. Jade's steady breathing monitored from her room, peaceful. Whatever tomorrow brought, we were okay. In the months that followed, the changes became real. The first sign came indirectly. A real estate listing popped up in my feed one day. The familiar photos of Lucas and Holly's big house, the one with the wraparound porch and the backyard they loved for barbecues. The price was lower than they'd paid, a quick sale vibe. I didn't click through, but I knew what it meant. Refinancing at higher rates hadn't panned out, or the monthly jump was too steep. They sold and moved to a smaller apartment in a less expensive area, trading space for affordability. No more extra rooms, no big yard. Practical, but a clear step down. My parents adjusted too, though quieter. The country club sent a polite cancellation confirmation to their email. Membership lapsed for non-payment. Dad stopped mentioning golf outings in the few strained texts that came early on. Mom switched to in-network doctors, fully scheduling appointments that fit insurance instead of preference. The luxury trips we'd all taken for granted, skipping a year, then another. No more group planning chats. Lucas took on a second job, evenings and weekends, at a consulting gig on top of his day role. Holly mentioned it once in a brief message before everything went silent, how exhausted he was, how it helped cover gaps. Their lifestyle tightened, fewer dinners out, more budgeting apps. Contact faded fast. After the initial angry texts, accusations of cruelty, demands for reconsideration, the messages stopped. Group chat went dormant. Birthdays passed without cards. No invitations, no check-ins. I didn't reach out either. The money I'd freed up, substantial, steady, went somewhere better. I set up a foundation focused on speech therapy access for kids from low-income families, grants for sessions, devices if needed, training for parents. partnerships with clinics to offer sliding scale programs. The first round of funding helped dozens of children start therapy they couldn't afford otherwise. Seeing reports come in progress notes. Thank you letters from parents felt like the right redirection. Jade's own journey kept moving forward steady, but real. Progress wasn't linear. Some days, Jade spoke freely, stringing words into short sentences, laughing as she named everything in Sightbook Dog Sky. Her therapist cheered those breakthroughs, and I'd record them on my phone to play back when doubt crept in. Other days, she went quiet again. Frustration showed in her face when a word wouldn't come, or after a long playdate with louder kids. She'd retreat to her room, lining up toys in perfect rows instead of talking. Those setbacks reminded me therapy was work, not magic. But she was no longer afraid to try. She'd push through stutters, try new sounds even if they came out wrong, look to me for encouragement instead of hiding. Her smile grew bigger, louder, genuine joy when she got something right. At park playgroups, she initiated more pointing and naming objects to other children, drawing them in. We built new routines. Weekly therapy stayed sacred, but I added fun elements, song videos from the platform I'd built, games that rewarded attempts. Evenings we'd practice at dinner, celebrating every effort with high fives. The house felt fuller in a different way. Friends from Jade's therapy group came over for playdates, parents who understood without explanation. We hosted small gatherings, no pressure, just support. One afternoon, months in, Jade stood in the kitchen reaching for a cup. "Water, please," she said clearly, 2 words linked perfectly. I handed it to her, throat tight. She drank, then grinned. "Thank you, Mama." Simple words, hard won. Those moments carried us. The other side's adjustments continued in the background. I heard snippets through mutual acquaintances who mentioned seeing my parents at regular stores or Lucas looking tired. But no direct bridge rebuilt. Our world shrank to what mattered, Jade's voice growing stronger, her confidence blooming. The foundation expanded quietly, more grants approved, waiting lists cleared. Life settled into a rhythm that felt earned. Jade's laughter echoed more often, filling spaces once occupied by obligation, and that was enough. Now, more than a year later, the calendar flipped past another birthday for Jade, her 4th, without a single message from the old side. No card in the mail, no text with emojis, no call, singing off key. The group chat, once filled with vacation photos and casual updates, had gone permanently silent. Deleted probably, or just abandoned. Holidays came and went the same way. Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, nothing. I noticed the absence at first, a quiet sting when Jade's special days passed, unmarked by grandparents, aunt, or uncle. But it faded quickly into acceptance. Their choice spoke volumes. Life on our side had settled into something solid, genuine. Our home stayed cozy, the same modest place, but brighter now, walls covered in Jade's artwork, shelves with books she picked herself. Mornings started with her chattering from her room, full sentences tumbling out as she described dreams or asked for pancakes. She'd mastered so many sounds, linking them effortlessly most days. Her speech wasn't perfect yet, some consonants still tricky, substitutions popping up when tired, but the difference was night and day. Therapy continued weekly, a fun routine she looked forward to, high-fiving her therapist at the end. Playdates multiplied. Kids from her preschool neighbors, therapy friends, the house often rang with multiple voices. Jade led games, now directing with clear instructions. "Your turn, build tower," or "Come slide with me." Her laugh boomed louder, uninhibited, drawing others in. I watched her confidence grow in small ways. At the park, she'd approach strangers' dogs, announcing "Pet gentle" before reaching out. Grocery shopping turned into naming everything on shelves, practicing volume when excited. The company thrived too. New features rolled out: AI-assisted progress tracking, expanded languages for immigrant families. Team grew, impact widened. Awards came, interviews I mostly declined. Focus stayed on users' kids, finding voices. The foundation became my passion project. Donations increased as awareness spread. We funded thousands of sessions annually, partnered with schools for early intervention. Stories arrived regularly, parents sharing videos of first clear, "I love you," or teachers noting classroom participation jumps. Evenings, Jade and I cooked together. She'd stand on her step stool, stirring with serious concentration, narrating steps, "Mix slow, no spill." Bedtime stories were interactive. She filled in words, corrected me playfully if I skipped parts. Weekends brought adventures, zoo trips where she named animals, fluently beach days, building sandcastles while chatting nonstop, library visits, ending with armfuls of books. Friends filled gaps, chosen family from work, parent groups, neighbors. Holidays hosted here, now small gatherings with people who celebrated Jade fully. No looking back with regret. The space they'd left allowed room for better connections. One ordinary evening summed it up. Jade and I sat on the porch swing after dinner, fireflies starting to blink in the yard. She leaned against me, pointing them out. "Look, Mama lights dance." I wrapped an arm around her. "They're beautiful just like you." She turned, eyes shining, and said clearly, "Love you big." My heart full, I held her close under the darkening sky. I lost a family that laughed at my child. I kept the one who trusted me to protect her.